All right, everybody. Today we are going to go over QuickBMS and starting from scratch on unzipping your character files. So I've said in the past, check out Beyond Carl's channel, and I still hold true to that because he's the one that I went to his video to learn how to use QuickBMS, but people still keep asking me questions, even though I'm posting links in the description for where I've gotten my information. So here's my video for the Kratos mod, and you can see here underneath the video for the description. Of course, maybe you don't know, but everybody should know this. Maybe you can't access this on your phone. Maybe a lot of people are watching this from their cell phone. I don't know. But it says show more, and you click show more, and it extends down, and this will answer all your questions. So we're going to need two files, QuickBMS software. So let's click here, and it's Internet Archive. It's taking you to, and I know I've gone through this before in another video, but I know videos get buried and everything, so whatever. QuickBMS Windows. So you want the zip file. Okay, and you download the zip file. Pick a destination. I'm just going to save it to my desktop right now. So I've got it saved, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. And show in folder. Alright, so you have to unzip it. It's a regular zip file. So I'm going to use 7-zip for mine to open it. Okay, so I got it extracted. I don't need the zip file anymore. Delete that. And where did I put it? QuickBMS. Alright. This is all it is, okay? That's it. But you're going to need to open something. Now, if you look down at the lower right-hand corner, it says script/plugin, and then it says parentheses BMS/txt files/WCX files. It needs a script to open. It needs something to open. It needs the Disney Infinity BMS. So let's get that, okay? Look down here. It is 1, 2. I know you probably can't see if I. Oh, look at that! I can zoom in. Oh, there we go. All right. So Disney Infinity BMS takes you to GameBanana.com, mods download, and right there, Disney Infinity BMS RAR. It's a RAR file. Okay, that's okay. You can get RAR for free. It's a software called WinRAR. Let's see. Watch this. WinRAR. And you go to winrar.com and you download the software to unzip it. 7-zip might even be able to do it as well. Alright, so I go to download. And then I save it somewhere. Where am I going to save it? I'm going to save it in the QuickBMS folder. Okay. Save, and then I'm going to go back to that QuickBMS folder that I saved on my desktop, and I'm going to say 7-zip extract to Disney Infinity BMS right here, and then I'm going to delete the RAR file. I no longer need it. Open that folder. There's only one file in there. I'm going to take it. I'm going to paste it on the outside of that folder and delete that folder. All right, refresh. And how I'm going to open this? Well, I'm going to open it by taking Disney Infinity BMS and dragging it on top of the QuickBMS exe. There we go. This is what we want. All right. So what we're going to do is go to the character folder that is in assets. Okay. Now the easiest way to get to your assets folder is through the main Steam page. Find Disney Infinity 3.0. Right click on it. Then when the menu pops up, click Manage, and then select Browse to Local Files. Now, pay attention to your toolbar because it opens a new folder, and sometimes it'll take you right to it, and other times it'll just put it on your the bottom taskbar, and it'll be highlighted. So you just go there, and where that takes you is the common folder for Disney Infinity 3.0, and from there you'll see the assets folder. All right, and you would say assets, characters, enter. Now yours is not, if you've never done this, you're not going to see all these files in here. So let me go back, and this is what you're going to see in the characters folder. I mean, you're going to see a bunch of other stuff here, but isolated out just the characters folder. In the characters folder, unzipped, fresh out of the box, you're going to see a bunch of folders in one zip file. What you're going to do is you're going to take that zip, but first copy your link where it's located at. Go back to the screen, and up here, paste that in here so it'll take you to the folder of the proper destination. Scroll all the way down to find that zip file and click it. You might have to click it twice. All right, then it's going to pop up with another screen. Enter the output file or folder where to save it. You're going to save it in the same destination, just so all you do is click save. All right, so it goes through all this, and it looks like it's done. Plus enter or close the window to quit. I'm just going to hit X, and then I'm going to go back to that folder, the character folder, in where I have it. And the zip folder is still there. Didn't change it. All it did is extract everything to what? A folder called characters. Now you have this characters folder with all these dnax files, BMX files, BTX files, SX files, and all these other things that tell characters what to do. Now all of these are read from inside the zip file, but what we're going to do is take all these, because you're going to need to do this to mod, right? And you're going to cut, right? Right click, cut, and then you're going to go back, and then you're going to paste all those files inside the characters folder. All right, now they're all in here, so the characters folder that was extracted is going to be empty. Empty. So you're going to delete that folder. You don't need it anymore. Now, if you're afraid, before doing any of this, you should have a copy of your entire assets folder anyway. Why would you back anything up, or why would you not back anything up if you're going to mod? It's ridiculous, right? So look here. I have original backup. I have a backup that I made prior to installing Apollo 11, so it's with everything extracted. I have a backup with Apollo 11 work in progress, which I'm probably going to delete because I'm going to start that all over again, because at the time I didn't know what I was getting myself into. And then here is a copy of that, which again I'm going to delete. I don't need it, but anyway, I have copies of copies depending on what stage I'm going in. If I'm going to experiment with something, I'm going to make sure that I have a backup so I don't mess everything up and have to download everything again and reinstall everything again and forget what I did and have to pull my hair out of my head. So, all right, now that you have made sure that you have made backups, you can actually take that character zip and you can delete it, because if you need it again, you can just go to one of those backups. Okay, so now we have everything extracted, but you're also going to need textures. All right, an unmodded textures folder in the assets folder is going to look like this. All these zip files, all those zip files. So what are we going to do with all those zip files? Same thing we did with the characters folder. We're going to make sure, we're going to make sure we have copy the directory, And then we're going to go back to QuickBMS. And then we're going to drag the Infinity BMS on top of the QuickBMS exe. And we're going to go to the top directory here and paste our texture directory, hit enter. And now we have all these zip files. What are we going to do? We're going to select every single one of these and you say open and then you say save. Okay, almost 2 minutes. All right, done. Now you have all these folders made that all have textures inside. Okay, now what? Is it going to work that way? No. So there's a couple things we're going to do here. You're going to take every zip folder that we just extracted. You don't need them because you made backups in case you messed up. You're going to take all of them. You're going to delete every zip folder. Just make sure you only highlighted zip folders. Okay. Delete. Now you have all these folders. So what you need to do is take all the contents from every folder out and paste it into the main textures folder. So what are you going to do? Well, everything in here is a .tbody file. So we're going to search .tbody. Enter. All right, make sure it's done searching. All right, so I'm seeing 18,300 files. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do Control A, select all, Control X, or right click and cut. And I'm going to go back. All right, make sure my cursor is somewhere there, and I'm going to paste or Control V all those files into the main textures folder. Okay, now that that's done, you have a bunch of empty folders, but my computer, once it's done doing a hard task, it needs a couple seconds to breathe before it registers anything. Okay, now that the graphics card and the memory and everything is caught up to real time, I'm going to select every folder that should be empty, but before we delete everything, we're going to right click and we're going to go to properties and make sure it says, oh, there is other things in here. What is in here? Well, we're going to find out. Because that, ooh, look at this. All right, so all that stuff from the other textures folder that was in the textures folder is going to have to come out. Cut and paste. All right, now that that's done, now let's search all those folders, and before we delete them, check again. Right click, properties. 0 files, 0 bytes. You're just going to make sure that, right? Because if I would have just forgot that one step, that there was extra stuff in that textures folder, things would not work. All right, you can thank me later. All right, so now that all those folders are 0 bytes, you know, it says 0 bytes, cancel. All right, you can delete all the folders. Hey, Mr. T-Body. So, what's the T-Body? Those are texture files. They are really DDS files. So I have the plugins on my computer, and really a T-Body says, I don't know how to open this. And what you're going to need to do to open it is you're going to need to re-enable Windows Photo Viewer. So how are you going to do that? You're going to go and do a Google search. If you don't have that, it was a Windows XP program, and it's still on. If you have Windows 10, it's still on there. I don't know about a Windows 11. See if you can re-enable Windows Photo Viewer, and what that enables you to do is double click on it, and you can see what it is. I'm like, whoa, my goodness, what did you pick? Looking at this one, I'm not quite sure what this one is, but it's something. All right, let's pick another one. It's a normal map, by the way. I just don't know exactly what it goes to without finding a color map. This is a tile for one of the Star Wars items. What is this one? Ah, Sorcerer Mickey. All right, you got all that done? Good. Those are the preliminaries, okay? Those are the preliminaries. The next thing you're going to have to learn is how to open two particular types of files that you're going to find everywhere. All right, so if I take, let's see, AVG Captain America, the folder in the characters folder, he's going to have zip files. And again, zip files, how did you open those? QuickBMS. So I'm not going to do that again. But you're also going to find, let's see, AVG Captain America. You're going to find him down here in a dnax files. All right, how do you open a dnax file? You open a dnax file with Notepad after you decrypt it. So the next section is, what is a dnax file? A dnax file it's a file extension which probably stands for DNA exclusion. It's used by Disney Infinity to store certain character script properties. Okay, but before we get into all that, how do you open it? UNLUAC. All right, back to life, back to reality. Now on to UNLUAC. So once you extend down the description, show more, you have a bunch of links. And UNLUAC is right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on that, and your download will start shortly. There we go. I'm going to save this to my desktop. Then I'm going to go to my notifications. So I'm just going to right click on that and say show in folder. And I'm going to put this in a folder. You can name this folder whatever you want, but I choose to name it for this tutorial UNLUAC, UNLUAC, and I'm going to take it and I'm going to Control X or right click cut or drag and drop, and I'm going to open it and paste it. Now you see there's one already there. So what am I going to do? Just going to get there. I've already done this tutorial once and I messed it up. All right, so what am I going to do with this? I'm going to rename it just UNLUAC just to make things easier, because you're going to need a name. Okay. Then you're going to want a notepad or a text document. Right click new and say new text document and name it code. You're going to need these in order to get the program to run properly. So what you're going to do first is type cd space. Okay, now go to the directory which you put UNLUAC in and copy that. And so it's going to be different for your computer, of course. And after the CD, remember we put space. All right, I'm just going to hit Control V or right click paste. And that is the first code that we're going to need. I'm going to save this. The second code we're going to need is this right here, Java space hyphen JAR space unluac.jar, which is the name of the program or the file that we downloaded. Space. And I would recommend just writing blank all in caps, and you'll see why in just a moment. Space greater than space, and I'm just going to say ZZZ. What's after this? What's this ZZZ? That is going to be the new file name. The blank is going to be the old file name. This is going to be how we're going to decrypt dnax files and lua files, okay? So I'm going to save my notepad here, and then I'm going to go to my assets folder, and then go to the characters folder in there. And since we've already unzipped all these files with QuickBMS, all the files should be available to you. So I'm going to search for Sam Flynn. So the code, the prefix for Tron is TRN. All right, so now I come to the folders. All right, so we're not looking for the folders. In the folders is the zip files for the character's animation and the model and all that. I want the dnax file. So I'm going to start here. If you see where I just went, I want after the folders, and I'm going to type TRN again. All right, now we're in the dnax files. So clue comes first, and then we have clue boss, and we have the weapon, his disc, and the physics regarding that disc. We have Quora, and of course S comes after Q, so there is sam.dnax. So I'm going to copy that. Well, before I copy it, if you've never done this before, of course, when you click on it, it's going to say, how do you want to open this program? You're going to want to set it to open dnax files with Notepad. So you have one of two ways to do that. You can right click and then just change, and then the option will come up, and I've already changed it to Notepad. Or you can double click on it if it's not already set, and it'll ask you. And so since Notepad's my default for it, this is what it looks like if you have not decrypted it yet. This is the encryption. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste it into the UNLUAC folder that I made. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I can view the file extensions. So I think by default, file extensions are off on most computers. So what you want to do is you go up top and you click View, and then you click the box that says File Name Extensions. You want that to be shown. So here's a little keyboard shortcut. When you highlight an item, if you hit F2, it's the same thing as going right-click Rename. All right. So it's just a little tidbit of information. And in this instance, you want the entire thing. So I'm going to select all of it and copy. And I'm going to go to the code where I typed in the Java code, and I typed in blank, and I'm going to paste over blank the name of the dnax file. The whole thing. Now, I'm also going to go to down in the toolbar. I'm going to hit the magnifying glass, and I'm going to search for CMD. Enter. That is your command prompt. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I want command prompt to see the folder that this is in. So remember, we typed CD space, in the directory. I'm going to copy that entire line. I'm going to go to command prompt and just hit Control V, paste it in there, enter. Now command prompt says we're in that folder. The next thing we're going to do is copy the next line, Control V, enter. All right, what that did is just created a new file called ZZZ, which is the dnax file. Now this is what is going to happen. If it says, how do I open this file? It's going to say what? And then That's what it's going to look like for any file without an extension that your computer does not recognize. Well, I'm not going to choose a file for a no extension. I'm going to copy the tron_sam dnax again and select the entire name. Then I'm going to delete it. And then I'm going to go to ZZZ and rename that the new Tron file, because it's just been decrypted. All right, and that is how you use unluac. So then what do you do from there? Well, create a folder called backups, copy your new dnax file, paste it in there. Why? Because if you're going to mod it, you might make a mistake, so you have an extra backup, even though you've already backed up your assets folder before doing any modding. This gives you a shortcut if you mess up, so you don't have to go back and do all these steps again, right? And these files aren't that big, so you shouldn't be taking up too much space. So then I'm going to take this entire one, I'm just going to cut it and move it. So remember, we have the backup already in there. So I'm just going to move this file into the characters folder, and I'm going to override the old one. All right. Okay. And that's it for unluac. Thanks everybody for watching. Don't forget to give me a like before you click out. And also, if you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Do it now! And click the bell icon if you want to know what I'm up to before I even know what I'm up to, because it helps you see into the future. And I just made that up. Until next time, this is That Brown Bat reminding you to keep on building.